Stop fighting. You think we'll back down? Not a chance. When the Galactic Council begged for peace, they had no idea what humanity was capable of. Captain John Bulldog Mason just gave them a taste of Earth's resolve, a fire that's only begun to burn. As alien leaders scramble to contain the chaos, one thing is clear: humanity isn't here to negotiate. They're here to win. What happens when a species finds its purpose in war? How far will humanity go to protect its newfound unity? Stick around to witness a response that will leave the galaxy reeling. Aliens say stop, but humanity's war response will shock you. You want us to stop? Sorry, we've only just begun warming up. The silence in the council chamber was shattered by the brash declaration from Captain John Bulldog Mason, the appointed representative of Earth, across the vast oval-shaped room filled with representatives of countless alien species. A wave of stunned murmurs rippled through the assembly. The request for ceasefire had come from the Galactic Council itself, the highest governing body in the known universe. They have not expected such a response. High Chancellor Zolther of the Quasar Dominion, a being of luminescent energy and the current head of the council, flared brighter in irritation. His voice, transmitted through a universal translator, echoed with a resonant timbre that commanded attention. Captain Mason, we implore you to reconsider. The conflict has already reached unprecedented levels of destruction. We summoned this meeting to negotiate peace. Captain Mason leaned back in his chair, a rugged smirk playing on his lips. His casual demeanor was a stark contrast to the meticulous decorum of the council destruction. You've seen nothing yet. Earth only just united under one banner. This was the first time we've had a common enemy, and I gotta say, it's been quite the bonding experience. From the side, the Martian ambassador clicks a bipedal insectoid with a Katniss exoskeleton, clicked his mandibles anxiously. Humans. This war has cost trillions of lives. Entire systems are in ruin. Surely there must be a better way to channel your vigor. Mason's eyes narrowed, the smirk never leaving his face. Look, Ambassador, I appreciate the concern, but you don't get it. For centuries, humanity fought amongst themselves. We were tearing each other apart over land, resources, beliefs. When you guys showed up, it was like a godsend. Suddenly, we had a common goal, a reason to push beyond our limits. And let me tell you, there's nothing more dangerous than a species with something to prove. The council members shifted uneasily. The representative from the Verdant Collective, a gaseous life form contained within a floating sphere, pulsated with fluctuating colors. Captain Mason, we understand the historical context. However, the continuation of this conflict poses a threat to the stability of the entire galaxy. We must find a resolution. Mason chuckled, a sound that resonated with a mix of amusement and menace. Resolution. The only resolution we see is total victory. Our scientists are working around the clock. Our factories are churning out war machines, and our soldiers are itching for battle. You want peace? Convince the Kravaxian Empire to surrender. A murmur of agreement and discontent spread through the council. The Kravaxians, a reptilian race with a penchant for conquest, had been the primary antagonists in the current galactic war. Their expansionist policies had led to the initial skirmishes that eventually embroiled the entire galaxy. High Chancellor Zolther's luminescence dimmed slightly, a sign of contemplation. Captain Mason, the Kravaxian delegation has expressed a willingness to negotiate. They recognize the tenacity and resilience of your species. Perhaps we can mediate a dialogue between your two races. Mason's grin faded, replaced by a steely resolved dialogue. The Kravaxians bombed our colonies, slaughtered our civilians, and pushed us to the brink. We don't want dialogue. We want justice. They started this war. We're going to finish it. Suddenly, the chamber's lights dimmed, and a holographic projection materialized in the center. It was Emperor Zorvax of the Krib-Axian Empire. His scales glistening under the artificial light, eyes narrow and calculating. Human representative, he hissed, "We meet at last." Mason's expression hardened. Emperor Zorvax here to beg for mercy. Zorvax, his nostrils flared, and he emitted a low growl. "Mercy. We Krib-Axians do not beg. We have fought for millennia, long before your kind crawled out of your primordial seas. But we recognize a formidable opponent when we see one. We propose an armistice." The room fell silent. All eyes were on Mason, waiting for his response. stood up his presence, commanding the attention of everyone in the chamber. Armistice? You mean a temporary pause so you can regroup and hit us again? Not happening. You either surrender unconditionally, or we continue until one of us is wiped out. Emperor Zorvax, his eyes blazed with anger. Do not underestimate us, human. We have resources and allies. You cannot fathom. A continued war will only bring mutual destruction. Mason leaned in his voice, cold and unyielding. We've been underestimating ourselves for too long. This war has shown us what we're capable of. So if mutual destruction is what it takes, then so be it. But make no mistake, we will not stop until we've achieved total victory. The council chamber erupted into chaos, voices overlapping as representatives argued, pleaded and debated. High Chancellor Zolther's voice boomed over the cacophony. Order. We must maintain order. Captain Mason remained standing, his gaze locked on Emperor Zorvax. Your move, Emperor. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. Zorvax, his image flickered, his expression inscrutable. Very well, human. If it is war, you seek war, you shall have, but know this. The Kravaxian Empire will not fall easily with that. The hologram vanished, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. High Chancellor Zolder turned to Mason. His glow dimmed to a somber hue. Captain Mason, you must understand the gravity of the situation. The galaxy cannot endure endless war. Mason nodded, his expression resolute. I understand perfectly, Chancellor, but humanity has finally found its purpose, and we're not about to let go of it. As the council adjourned, the representatives filed out, leaving Mason standing alone in the vast chamber. He took a deep breath, the weight of the galaxy's expectations pressing down on him. But he felt no fear, no doubt, only the burning determination of a species that had found its calling in the crucible of war. The battle for the galaxy had only just begun, and humanity was ready to fight until the bitter end. In the days following the heated council meeting, Captain Mason returned to the command ship of the human expeditionary fleet. The U.S. Resolute docked at the edge of a massive asteroid field in a strategic position. The Resolute served as the nerve center for humanity's war efforts. Mason's return was met with salutes and brisk reports from his officers, but his mind was already focused on the next steps. The war room aboard the Resolute was a hive of activity. Holographic displays projected the current state of the galaxy, highlighting conflict zones, fleet movements, and intelligence reports. Mason stood at the center, flanked by his key officers, Admiral Thomas Wright, a seasoned tactician in General Marcus Hayes. Commander of the ground forces, Admiral Wright, with his grizzled features and piercing eyes, tapped a control panel zooming in on the Kravaxian home system. Captain, we've identified a weakness in their defenses. Their main shipyards in the Jorva Nebula are heavily fortified, but their supply lines are vulnerable. If we can disrupt their logistics, we can cripple their ability to build and repair their fleet. General Hayes nodded, his muscular frame, seeming to embody the relentless strength of humanity's ground forces. Our troops are ready for a coordinated strike. We've trained for this. Hit them hard, and they won't know what hit him. Mason studied the holographic display, his mind racing through the possibilities. We need to be swift and decisive. If we can cut off their supply lines, we'll force them into a defensive stance, but we also need to be prepared for their retaliation. They won't take this lying down. Admiral Wright pointed to a section of the hologram. Our intelligence suggests that the Kravaxian fleet is massing near the Draken Belt. We could be looking at a significant engagement there. If we strike their supply lines, they might pull back to defend them, giving us an opening. Mason's eyes gleamed with determination. All right, we launch Operation Severance. Admiral, you coordinate the fleet movements. General, prepare your men for deployment. We strike at dawn. As the officers dispersed to carry out their orders, Mason took a moment to gaze out of the viewport at the vast expanse of space. Humanity had come a long way from its humble beginnings. Now they were on the brink of reshaping the galaxy. There was no turning back. Hours later, the fleet was assembled and ready. The Resolute led a formation of battleships, cruisers, and support vessels, all poised for the attack. Mason stood on the bridge, his presence a steady anchor for his crew. The tension was palpable, but so was the resolve. All ships report ready. Captain said, Lieutenant Connor, The communications officer, we're green across the board. Mason nodded, good. Set course for the Jova Nebula. Engage on my mark. The fleet surged forward, engines blazing as they streak toward their target. The journey was tense, but uneventful, a calm before the storm. As they approached the nebula, the ships went to battle stations, weapons primed and shields at full strength. Admiral Wright, take us into the nebula. Keep the formation tight. We don't want to get separated in there. Mason ordered the fleet plunged into the swirling clouds of the Jova Nebula, their sensors struggling to pierce the dense gas and electromagnetic interference. But the element of surprise was on their side as they neared the Crib Axion shipyards. The enemy's defensive fleet came into view, caught off guard by the sudden assault. All ships opened fire. Mason commanded the void erupted with the fury of battle. Laser beams, plasma bolts, and missile trails crisscrossed the space between the two fleets. The human ships, with their advanced targeting systems and robust shields, pressed the attack relentlessly. Crevaxian ships exploded in brilliant bursts of light, their defensive formations breaking under the onslaught. Amidst the chaos, General Hayes led a precision strike on the ground. Dropships descended onto the enemy facilities, deploying squads of heavily armed soldiers. The fighting was fierce, but the human troops, fueled by a mixture of adrenaline and determination, pushed through with ruthless efficiency. Mason watched the tactical display, coordinating the fleet's maneuvers and directing reinforcements where needed. Admiral focused fire on their command ships. We need to disrupt their coordination. The Crevaxian flagship, a massive dreadnought bristling with weapons, became the primary target. Human ships concentrated their fire, battering the flagship's shields until they collapsed. A final barrage from the Resolute's main cannons reduced the dreadnought to a flaming wreck. Captain, we've secured the shipyards. General Hayes reported over the comms. Their defenses are in shambles. We're mopping up the last pockets of resistance now. Mason allowed himself a rare smile of satisfaction. Excellent work. General, begin dismantling their facilities. We don't want them rebuilding anytime soon. As the human forces consolidated their victory, Mason knew this was only the beginning. The Crib Auctions would regroup and retaliate, but humanity had proven they could strike deep into enemy territory. The message was clear. Earth was a force to be reckoned with. Captain, incoming transmission from the Galactic Council, Lieutenant Connor announced. Patch it through, Mason replied, his expression hardening as he prepared for another round of diplomatic sparring. The holographic image of High Chancellor Zoldor materialized his luminescent form, flickering with agitation. Captain Mason, we have received reports of your actions in the Jova Nebula. The Council demands an explanation. Mason met the Chancellor's gaze unflinchingly with all due respect. Chancellor, we're not looking for approval. We're looking for victory. The Crevaxians wanted a war, and we're giving them one. If they want peace, they know where to find us. Zoldfor's glow intensified, reflecting his inner turmoil. This war threatens the entire galaxy. Captain, we must find a way to end it. Mason's voice was cold and resolute. We will end it. Chancellor, on our terms. As the transmission ended, Mason turned back to the viewport, the fires of determination burning bright in his eyes. The road ahead was long and fraught with peril, but humanity had found its path, and there was no turning back. Now, the weeks following the daring assault on the Jova Nebula were marked by relentless skirmishes and strategic maneuvers. The human expeditionary fleet, now emboldened by their victory, continued to press the Crib Axion Empire on multiple fronts. However, the war was far from over, and the Crevaxians were regrouping for a counter-offensive. Captain Mason stood on the bridge of the U.S. Resolute, overseeing the latest reports. The human forces had made significant gains, but the cost was high. Every victory brought them closer to a final confrontation that would decide the fate of the galaxy. Captain, incoming transmission from Admiral Wright. Lieutenant Connor announced. Put him through. Mason replied. The holographic image of Admiral Wright appeared. His expression grave. Captain, our scouts have confirmed a massive Crib Axion fleet amassing near the Draken Belt. They're preparing for a decisive strike. Mason's jaw tightened. How many ships are we talking about? At least 3 times our number. They're throwing everything they've got at us, Wright replied. Mason nodded, his mind racing through the possibilities. We can't afford to engage them head-on. We need to outthink them, use their numbers against them. General Hayes, standing nearby, spoke up, Captain. We've identified several key choke points in the Draken Belt. If we can lure their fleet into those areas, we can use the asteroid field. Explosions lit up the darkness as ships from both sides were torn apart by the ferocious fighting. All units fall back to the primary choke point. Mason ordered, Admiral, have your cruisers ready to flank them once they're in position. The Kravaxians, driven by their superior numbers and desire for revenge, pushed deeper into the asteroid field as they converged on the human fleet's apparent position. The trap was sprung. Human ships emerged from hiding, attacking from multiple angles and creating confusion in the Kravaxian ranks. Now, Admiral Mason commanded Admiral Wright's cruisers swooped in from the flanks, cutting off the Kravaxian retreat and trapping them in a deadly crossfire. The asteroid field, once a treacherous obstacle, became a weapon in the hands of the human fleet. Kravaxian ships collided with asteroids and each other, their formations crumbling under the relentless assault amidst the chaos. Mason received a direct transmission from Emperor Zorvax. The reptilian leader's visage filled the screen, his eyes burning with fury. Mason, you dare to challenge the might of the Kravaxian Empire. You will be destroyed. Mason's expression was one of cold resolve. Your empire's days are numbered. Zorvax, surrender now, and we might spare what's left of your forces. Zorvax, his response was a guttural roar. Never, we will fight to the last. The transmission cut off, and Mason turned to his crew. All units focused fire on their command ships, braked their will to fight. The battle raged on, but the outcome was becoming clear. The Kravaxian fleet, despite their superior numbers, was outmaneuvered and outgunned one by one. Their command ships were destroyed, leaving the remaining forces in disarray as the last of the Kravaxian ships either fled or were destroyed. A sense of quiet triumph settled over the human fleet. The battle had been won, but the war was not over. Captain, we have an incoming transmission from the Galactic Council. Lieutenant Connor announced, patch it through. Mason said, bracing himself high. Chancellor Zal Thor's holographic image appeared, his luminescent form now dimmed with a mix of resignation and hope. Captain Mason, the Council has witnessed your actions. The Kravaxian Empire is in disarray. We implore you to consider a ceasefire. Mason took a deep breath. Chancellor, we did not come this far to leave. The job half done. The Kravaxians need to understand that their days of conquest are over. Zulthor's voice was calm, almost pleading. Captain, think of the lives that can be saved. The galaxy has suffered enough. Let us negotiate a lasting peace. Mason glanced at his officers, seeing the wariness in their eyes. They had fought bravely, but the toll of war was undeniable. He turned back to Zoldor. We'll consider your proposal, Chancellor, but know this, if the Kravax actions ever threaten us again, we will be ready south. Or his form brightened slightly, a sign of hope. Thank you, Captain. The Council will work to ensure a fair and lasting peace. As the transmission ended, Mason addressed his crew, prepare for the next phase. We may have won this battle, but the future of the galaxy will be shaped by what we do next. The crew nodded, their spirits lifted by the promise of peace. Mason looked out at the stars, the weight of his decisions pressing down on him. Humanity had proven its strength, but now it was time to prove its wisdom. The road to peace would be long and difficult, but Mason was ready. They had come too far to falter. Now, with resolve and determination, humanity would carve its place in the galaxy, not just as warriors, but as champions of a new era. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, like, subscribe, and stay tuned to SciFi Humanity for more epic tales. Until next time, keep exploring.